Listen, everyone. You hear those dogs barking? Those are the Sometimes dogs. And this is the Sometimes Vlog. It's a vlog that happens sometimes with barking dogs in the background. I am on California Avenue and Proctor Lane. Here's a look at Proctor Lane for you in the city of Norco, California. Horsetown, USA as it's billed, because all these streets are lined with horse trails. Every 5 minutes or so, a horse has been coming by with a rider. But I'm not here for horses or giant rocks shaped like pumpkins up in the mountains over here, which was the subject of the last Sometimes vlog. And just if you thought one Sometimes vlog was enough, you thought wrong. You needed a twofer, because it's the second to last day of 2015, December 30th, 2015. So why not a twofer? Second to last day. 2 Sometimes vlogs in a row. No, I'm not here for this. I'm not here for horses. I'm not even here for a man on fire or killing a guy with a trident. I'm here for this. Look at this. Do you know what that is? That right there is Gumby, ladies and gentlemen. Gumby, created in the 1950s by artist and filmmaker Art Pokey. That is America's most beloved, wonderful character, Gumby. He was just a little green glob of clay. Gumby, you should see what Gumby's gonna do today. Gumby, he can pop into any book with his pony pal, Pokey, too. That's right, here in Norco, California, off Proctor Lane, which is this little strip, and California Avenue, next to all the construction being done on the power lines over here, and in betwixt all these crazy barking dogs, including a crazy barking dog here, who does not seem to be a huge fan of the Sometimes vlog, even though I made him an honorary Sometimes dog, are these giant statues of Gumby and his pony pal, Pokey, too. They appear to be made of metal. These Gumby statues are super famous. They are clearly decked for the holidays. Decked the holidays with boughs. It doesn't matter. I ruined it. Gumby right here, covered with Christmas lights and a freaking awesome Santa hat. Art Pokey created Gumby in the 1950s. I'm pretty sure after his first little claymation clip, Gumbasia, and then another one with starring Gumby. It was picked up by the Howdy Doody show, and then Gumby became a hit all in its own right. I'm pretty sure Art Pokey actually resided in Southern California, out in like Glendora or somewhere like that, not too far away from Norco, but not in Norco, and that's where he filmed the majority of those classic Gumby episodes. I really love Gumby. I mean, if you have a heart, then Gumby's a part of you, and I really, really, really love Pokey. Pokey is Gumby's pony pal. And here they both are, Gumby and Pokey. Now, why are they here? I don't know. This house has the name Williams all over it. They have a little Marshall section back there and some horses and stuff. I don't want to creep on their property, but lots of W's, so I'm pretty sure a family named Williams owns this property, and one of them is clearly an artist who's created these giant statues of Gumby and Pokey. Now, I should have done a little bit more homework. I did read about this a few days ago and decided I better stop by because I was up in the mountains looking at a giant rock shaped, well, it's shaped like a rock, but it's painted like a giant pumpkin with the face of Jack Skellington. It's pretty epic and amazing. We offered it, I tried to offer it a human sacrifice. It didn't want it, so I offered it. It's a long story. Go back and see the last vlog. But look at this. Pokey, hey Gumby, it's me, Pokey. I always loved Pokey the most. Like, look at him. Isn't he epic? You guys grow up watching Gumby, those old 1950s classic cartoons? Now, they had a newer 1990s Gumby movie, so a whole new generation of people has grown up loving Gumby from that Gumby movie in the 90s. But for me, it was all those reruns and short films from the 1950s, all claymation. As a matter of fact, Gumby, if you ever wondered where the name Gumby came from, see, now these people aren't home, so I'm just going to get a little closer, just real quick. So you can see he's all made out of like metal and fiberglass or something. Pokey. This is super epic and amazing. I don't want to trespass on these people's kindness. Although they saw me taking pictures before they left the house. It seemed pretty cool. But yeah, I found out that Gumby was actually named for a clay found at Art Pokey. That's the guy who invented Gumby. So if you've ever seen those Pokey logos on the cartoons, that's why. Art Pokey, it was his name, created Gumby, and he had apparently, his grandparents had a farm with a bunch of clay deposits. See what I tell you about Horsetown, USA. Every couple of minutes, a horse is going by with a human on it, which is like, just, I mean, we're like 20 miles from Orange County, from where I grew up. and you enter this whole other world here. It's just like the old west as you're coming by. People are riding horses, and it's the weirdest thing in the world. Anyway, Norco, California, N-O-R-C-O. Anyway, Art Clokey's grandparents had a farm where there was a bunch of clay that his grandparents, I guess, called gumbo. Ah, that's out there in the gumbo or whatever. So when he created his green clay character, he called it Gumby. Gumby. Beloved Gumby. Gumby is such a big part of a lot of our childhoods, and you never really think about Gumby because he's not like a super popular, crazy character today. The only time you ever see Gumby is when you go to like, why am I looking at me instead of Gumby? When you go to like old soda fountains and stuff, and they've got like the souvenirs, and they have like, you know, your Lucille Ball snow globes and things like that, and then there's always a Gumby and a Pokey to play with. When I was a kid, we always had this little rubber Gumby and Pokeys, and you could bend them. They had the wires inside their arms and legs, and you could like sort of bend them, kinda. And as a matter of fact, when I said I might be coming to see a Giant Gumby today, I was talking to my dad randomly this morning, and I was like, you wouldn't happen to have a Gumby lying around, would you? Like just as a sarcasm a little bit. And he's like, actually, I think I do. And over and above the garage door in the garage, my dad had, lo and behold, a Gumby. I kind of feel like almost every household in America might have one of these hiding somewhere. So this is a little tiny example of what I'm talking about. We had the bigger ones though that had like wires inside, so you could sort of pose them. It was never that satisfying. Like you could kind of spread Gumby's legs apart. I really loved Gumby though. I loved the fact that Gumby could go inside of any book he wanted to. Look at how cute he is. And look at this. This is the official Gumby right here. See him? And then that's this Williams character's version of Gumby. I think this is really good. Like that is really cool. If somebody made that out of metal and their imagination, this is epic. And then Pokey over there is like beyond amazing. I think Gumby might have come first, and then Pokey was like, perfected their craft and technique. Sadly, it appears that this house off California Avenue, which is number 4175, is for sale. Marcy Campbell, the realtor. The realtor? Yes, Marcy Campbell, the realtor. And boy howdy, is she looking great in this photo, is selling this property. I don't know whether Gumby and Pokey come with it, but if you have a little extra cash, you might consider giving Marcy Campbell a call right there and trying to bid on not just this actually very beautiful looking house here in Norco, California, with apparently a lot of property behind it, but Gumby and Pokey themselves. Anyway, this is just a little I was trying to say quick and short together, and I almost said something bad. A quick, short hello from Norco, California. One additional sometimes vlog, a bonus sometimes vlog, if you will, to show you Giant Gumby and Giant Pokey, because I couldn't just be out here and not show them to you. Now, maybe at some point I'll get a chance to come back and examine them a little more closely. I don't know. I was gonna ask the people, but they all left in a big hurry and they ran away and they sort of looked at me and I waved and they waved, but there wasn't time to be like, hey, you don't mind if I go up and touch your big Pokey, do you? That's what she said. I'm sorry, I couldn't help myself. Look at it, Giant Pokey there. Anyway, it doesn't matter that they're gone, because their sometimes dog is guarding the place, like really well too. I must say that sometimes dog is quite terrifying. But look at Pokey. That is freaking epic. I cannot believe that Pokey. Look at the size of that Pokey. Anyway, Gumby and Pokey here off California Avenue. If you're ever in the neighborhood of Norco, which is pretty much on the way from Orange County to Las Vegas, right off the 15 freeway, just north of the 91, just north of Corona, Norco out here. Just an average little small town in the middle of nowhere kind of thing. All these old trees, and it looks like something out of It's a Wonderful Life, just because the tree, I guess, that you could crash into, George Bailey style. Anyway, I'm out here enjoying life, trying to soak up the last shreds of weirdness before the end of 2015. I have no idea what I'm doing for New Year's Eve yet. I have no idea what I'm doing for New Year's Day yet. I have no idea what I'm doing for the week after that. So I have a bunch of plans, a bunch of things I want to accomplish this year, and I'm ready to go and get ready to do them. Lots of stuff, lots of different random land ideas and stuff like that, but I just really need to plan it out a little better than I planned last year. All this epic stuff I wanted to have happen last year, but there were all these crazy setbacks, and then Tyler moved away, and it sort of reconfigured my whole schedule, and I'm trying to decide between like trying to find an apartment out here or just traveling way more. And if I'm gonna be doing some traveling way more, then I need to have my homework done and ready so that I can accomplish everything that I want to accomplish. 2016, I'm excited for it. We're gonna have all kinds of crazy adventures. These guys have been fixing the telephone poles out here and watching me look at Gumby and Pokey for quite a while. And then I set off this sometimes dog, and all these other dogs started barking in the neighborhood. And now it's super quiet, and these guys are back in their truck just looking at me. It's like Home Alone, you know, when Kevin's walking and like they're in the van right behind him, and they're getting closer and closer. Like every kid's nightmare. Like, did your grandma, when you were a kid, like ever go like, be careful, you're gonna get kidnapped? My grandma did a lot. God rest her soul. And she was always like, you're gonna get kidnapped, you gotta be careful, you gotta look over your shoulder, there's kidnappers everywhere. And one time, her advice turned out to be super useful, because this car was following me down the street, and because I had paid attention to all her crazy warnings, like I always thought she did it just to stress me out, but because I had paid attention to all her crazy warnings, I knew immediately, like if a car is following you down the street, go to any house or any adult or any grown-up and tell them, hey, there's a car and it's been following me very suspiciously for a long time. Even if you could be wrong, better to say something and be wrong than to say nothing and be kidnapped, or worse, or something, or talked to by a stranger. So I did that, and I was saved by two guys in shoes and boots on Lincoln Avenue in Anaheim, California, years and years and years ago, who went outside. And when I turned into the parking lot to go talk to the adults, the car followed me into the parking lot. So I don't know. Maybe he just wanted to give me a flyer for a youth auxiliary, merchant marine, Coast Guard. I don't know. But I'm just, thank you, Grandma. Sometimes when your grandma says negative things and stresses you out, she does it because she loves you. So give Grandma a call today if you can. And look at Gumby. This went sideways. I don't know how. It always does, though. Look at Gumby right here on a sometimes vlog. So this awesome house, apparently all this property and cool stuff is for sale. So there's the extra plug. I'm sorry to the owner of the house for getting so close to your house and looking so closely at Gumby. But hopefully we promoted it. Marcy over there is going to get some calls, maybe. And the Sometimes mob might buy this place. We'll all go in on it together and worship the lovely art that is known as Gumby. Isn't that cool, though? I think it's really cool. And not only that somebody just took their time out and created a piece of art, because let's face it, like a lot of people are like, oh, it'd be cool to create something like this. Like, who's going to do that? Who's going to do that in the first place? Like, I'm going to go in my backyard and weld a Gumby together today. That's freaking awesome. And number two, they stick it out in their front yard for people like me to come by and take a selfie with Gumby. Actually, there we go, I just took one. A fun pic with Gumby and just kind of entertain the neighborhood. Like, it's just a really nondescript neighborhood, a horse neighborhood, little houses, big, deep horse properties here. And then randomly, all of a sudden, you put up a freaking giant Gumby and a Pokey just to let kids hang out, and then you decorate it for the holidays. People like this are my freaking heroes, and I aspire one day to own a house or something and maybe build a roadside attraction somewhere. Who knows? But people like this are my heroes. So whoever created this art, and I'm assuming it's a guy with a wooden leg named Williams, thank you. I honestly really appreciate things like this. Creativity, art, just a little bit of Gumby sunshine to make the world go round. That's freaking awesome. I wish there was like a donation box. Like, put $1 in here and save Gumby forever. And I hope that whoever gets a hold of Marcy Campbell here doesn't remove Gumby, or if Senior Williams, takes his creations with him when he moves, I hope he finds an equally obvious roadside area to leave Gumby and Pokey out. Now, Gumby, it's nice to see you. He keeps waving. He's just like one of those things. He just won't stop waving by, so you won't stop waving by. He just won't stop waving by. Is he still looking by? And Pokey. Pokey is like, I have to say this, like, Pokey was my favorite when I was a kid over Gumby, even though I love Gumby. And Pokey is my favorite statue out here too, because just look at him. Anyway, epic, huge, massive Gumby and Pokey, like maybe like one of the coolest things I've ever seen in my life. Right there, Pokey, Gumby back there. I just wanted to share that with you all. Now it's time for me to go. Make sure to check out the last Sometimes vlog. My friend Brandon and I hiked to the top of a mountain together to show off some very crazy, very creative art just like this. Who knew that Norco, California would be so full? And by the way, there it is, way up there. I don't know if you can see, way back up on that mountain. There's a little bulbous orange, just through the leaves of the tree there, a bulbous orange rock sticking up. It's a giant pumpkin up there on top of the mountain. It's incredible. Go check it out. So, who knew that Norco, Horsetown, USA, Norco, it's hard to say. Horsetown, USA would be so full of creative, ginormous, gargantuan, megalithic art. Not I, said the butterfly. Anyway, I'm about to go into my horse. See what I did there? Mustang joke. I'm about to get in my pony and take off for parts less arid than this horsey, dry area out here in the Inland Empire. I actually kind of really like the Inland Empire. It's just all dirt. It's just really weird how you go from like coastal greenery to just dirt and scrub, and like it's not even quite desert yet. It's like this weird, I don't know what you would call the terrain, chaparral maybe or something. Oh my gosh, I almost littered a stick of gum on the ground. Thank goodness I found it. Anyway, I gotta go into my car, back to Orange County, go home and sleep well. Thank you for joining me for a second bonus sometimes vlog. And listen, if you're gonna be a sometimes dog, don't bark, just be cool. All right, I'll see you guys later, bye. Make sure to subscribe and visit livefastdiepoor.spreadshirt.com, pilgrim. Wait a minute, John Wayne didn't talk like that. Fail.